Hello and welcome to the Gin Weekly Update for Friday, May 20th, 2016. I'm Joel Yeast. Last weekend, Blaine Athorn was here in Chicago and presented his 10 Pillars of Success seminar. We streamed much of it live on Facebook and Twitter through the Periscope app and as well as freeconferencing.com. More on that in the future. Plus, I video recorded this session, so look for that seminar in its entirety to be released in the near future. A side note for our French-speaking members. Each week, I write, film, and deliver this weekly update for you, for Gin, for all of us, and I also send off a script of what I wrote to be translated and then copy that translation into the subtitles that you see here below. This is a long process, and sometimes, like last week, I simply run out of time to get those subtitles onto the video. Now, if you ever need a transcript, a French transcript of the Gin update, please send me an email, and I will email that directly to you. Look for Member Overview, Local Chapter, and Mastering the Success Mastery course meetings in your area. There will be local chapter meetings in Calgary, Alberta, May 20th, Sydney, Australia on May 21st, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida on May 24th, Stoneham, Massachusetts, also on May 24th, in Loveland, Colorado, May 26th, Ottawa, Ontario, May 28th, in also Paris, France on May 31st. There will be a member overview meeting in Pau, France on May 28th. And as you know, we're having membership overview calls each and every week with our leaders like Blaine Athorn and Don Boyer. That's each Tuesday night. Look for an email with all of that information. And finally, Mastering the Success Mastery courses in your area coming up include Calgary, Alberta, that's May 21st, Clearwater, Florida on May 24th, Pau, France, May 28th. That's the same day as their overview meeting. In Burlingame, California, May 31st. So go to access.events for more information about any and all of the above meetings. We know how the Patnode family has positively influenced this club. Jacques and Linda were Gin founders and like parents to all of us. They were also sanctioned speakers, member level 6 members, platinum affiliates, and so much more. Plus, Stefan has inspired us from the stage and led us through many morning workouts and positive counsel at any time of the day. One member of the Patnode family who was always there, kind of in the background, Sylvain Patnode. Syl has been to most of our Gin events, and he's that one who's always smiling, always positive, always has something good to say. When they're doing their sunrise meditations or warrior fitness workouts, he quietly, wisely lets his brother be the voice, and Syl demonstrates the actions that Stefan is instructing. Syl is also living an amazing life in Ontario, making a difference in the lives of the kids and the adults that he teaches. And he really leads by example and shows us how to live a healthy, happy life. Just look at his Facebook page. It's filled with positivity and people thanking him for making a difference and making their lives better. Syl also travels the world attending Gin events and is very well recognized among his Gin family. And like I said, he's always smiling. So let's celebrate Syl Patnode and thank him for always being there for us, for his family, for his brother. He's always there with a smile and a kind word. Also, happy birthday to Syl. He celebrated his birthday on May 19th. Along with Ben Marley had a birthday on May 19th, as did our very own Lisa Larson and myself. We all share the same birthday. Thanks, Syl. We appreciate you. I'll be doing more member recognition like this coming up. So if you know of a member who deserves recognition, feel free to email me directly or email support. And speaking of birthdays, as I said yesterday, was my birthday. And like many of us, I got that call that I love from my mom, Joanne. It was the first call I got yesterday morning. She said, "Happy birthday, son." And she goes right into the story. "Oh, I remember it was such a beautiful day in Iowa. Your dad and I got in the car, and we pulled out of the driveway. The sky was so blue and beautiful. The birds were singing. And the prisoners were all shouting and waving." You see, my father was a park ranger, and they lived on the grounds of Geode State Park in Iowa. A few days a week during the summer and the spring and maybe into the fall, the prisoners from the maximum security prison who were on good behavior, they would come and they would work on the grounds of the state park. In the early spring that year, my mom was pregnant with me and spent time working on a flower garden. And the prisoners would see her from afar and wave and smile and ask her when the baby was due. So on May 19th, she went to Sacred Heart Hospital to give birth to me. And a few days later, my dad came in with a card that he gave to her. See, all of the prisoners had signed it. Many of them had simple handwriting or couldn't read or write at all and needed help signing their name. It touched her a lot. And then when she left the hospital and came home, there in the yard, the prisoners had built the most beautiful flower garden for her to enjoy. You see, it would be easy for her and my father to look at the prisoners and ignore them and assume that they are evil. And it would be easy for the prisoners to look at my parents and assume that they were intolerant. In the book, The Law of Success in 16 Lessons, there is an entire book on tolerance. Bob Marley famously sang, "Who are you to judge me and the life that I live? I know that I'm not perfect. In fact, I don't live to be. So before you point your fingers, make sure your hands are clean." Most people don't know this, but I was actually born deaf and developed hearing later. Today, I have great, though selective, hearing. Ironically, I work in video and sound. So maybe on that day I received a blessing from a busload of prisoners, and my life is better for it. Or maybe the universe decided that I needed to hear, or simply I developed hearing over time. Either way, here I am, and I'm blessed for it. Finally today, a quick story about my car. I have a trusted car mechanic. It's where I take my Jeep for any and all repairs and advice about service. I'd called them on Friday of last week to get something fixed. Tim, the owner and operator, the one who oversees every aspect of his business, was not around, so I spoke with Joe. Joe told me to go ahead and bring my Jeep in on Monday to get fixed. Monday arrived, and I showed up at 8 a.m. to drop my Jeep off. I saw Tim, and he said, "Hey, Joel, what are you doing here?" I said, "Well, Joe told me to bring my Jeep in." Well, it turns out that the parts that they needed to fix my Jeep were not in, and I kind of wasted a trip. No big deal. Tim said, "Joel, look, I apologize for this, but we're going to have to reschedule." "Well, no worries, Tim. It isn't your fault," I said. "You didn't set up my appointment. I don't blame you." He looked at me and he said, "That's true, but this is my business, and I am in charge of every aspect of this business. See, Joe does a great job, but I don't check to see that we have the parts that match the appointments that he's supposed to order. Then I'm wasting the time of my customers, and I am missing out on business." You see, Tim knows the score. He understands that while he has trusted employees, he needs to know what's happening in his business. That's how he remains successful. He also doesn't assign blame. It would be easy for him to say, "Well, That's Joe's fault. He scheduled the appointment, and he didn't do the proper follow-up and follow through. Now, why is that? Well, because he is in charge of Joe and Joe's actions or inactions. He's also the one who hired and trained and enabled Joe to make those decisions. Now, he'll explain to Joe how it should be done. And in the future, Joe will get it right. In the meantime, Tim understands that he has to know what's happening in his business and take responsibility for it without assigning blame to anyone but himself. What responsibility are you taking in your life? Are you taking charge of your goals and dreams? Are you allowing others to hijack your future? Are you assigning blame to people who should not be in control? Take responsibility for your actions and your future. Make a plan, then follow up and follow through. Nothing has ever happened to your dreams unless you were responsible for them. Yeah, circumstances and challenges do happen, but you're in control. Make no mistake, you are in control. This is your business, and it's not anyone else's fault. And when you win, it will be because you took control. Remember, you're the only one in charge of your dreams. And one of the most important aspects of all of this is to surround yourself with the people who lift you up and encourage you to succeed. Take every opportunity to be near those people as often as possible. Well, that's it. That's the weekly update for today, Friday, May 20th, 2016. Thank you for watching. I'm Joel Yeast. I'll see you again next week.